Hi guys.
Hi,
Hi, my name is Rishi.
and this is Jeet here.
So today we are going to give some five important analysis point of Justice League, the recent movie which has been directed by Zack Snyder. Not actually Zack Snyder, Joss Whedon. I
Whedon.
think the whole Warner Brothers were actually involved into this whole process, and we exactly know how it actually failed at box office and actually got penned down by critically. Worst movie of the year, worst superhero movie of the year. Yeah,
So here we are giving you out 5 reasons that might have gone wrong for Justice League, which is not a super hit right now. So let's start. Let's begin with.
So I think the first thing about this movie is Ben Affleck. Now I personally feel that the DC has actually failed in using or acquiring Ben's persona on big screen. Ben Affleck character in BVS was far more better, far more acquainted with the realism of the character after Christian Bale from Dark Knight trilogy. And I feel that the Ben Affleck could have been more used properly as far as the Batman is concerned. The Batflick, which is popularly known on the internet.
More deep voice.
Yeah, more deep voice,
Yeah.
Batman. So I know that's something what could have been much more better, because in the movie, if you see, the Batman has been constantly been bashed by each and every member of the Justice League. I mean, the first we can just see that the Jason Momoa Aquaman just simply pushed him back, and secondly we just see that he has an argument with Diana Prince, that is the Gal Gadot on the equation, on the personal equation, and third we definitely see Superman telling him, "Do you bleed?" That iconic dialogue. So we personally feel that the Batman being one of the most prestigious and one of the most important character in DC could have been get some equal share of respect, the equal share of screen space, which I think DC has actually eventually failed. Batman stands for is for getting the team together. He's the one of the brains behind the whole Justice League, and I think the DC actually failed miserably bad in this movie.
Second thing I would like to just add up is CGI. The CGI is not up to the mark, which has supposed to be in a Justice League movie. After all, it's a superhero movie. I mean, you need to have impact of that movie. You could have feel the super villain. Stephen Wolf, which is the villain for this movie, is looking like really someone who's just like from a Mortal Kombat character. He's not even looking very up to the mark, or not even buffed up, or not even big enough or scary enough. And also there's something wrong with Superman because of the whole mustache theory, but I think Zack Snyder was paying some millions to get rid of his mustache, but they failed miserably to do that, and it was clearly seen on Superman's face. CGI was really bad. So that is one very backdraw for the Justice League as well.
I mean, after the CGI, we actually came up with Warner Brothers interference. I'm really shocked that how come a production house can actually get into the creative space. I mean, they already, it's like it's like too many cooks spoil the dishes.
Exactly.
It's the same thing which has happened with Justice League, that Joss Whedon, the Zack Snyder, then we have this particular CGI editing thing which we can come up in the fifth point. I think that's really worst thing about their interference. I think they should have actually stick to the one particular version of a director that's either a Joss or either a Zack. And I think the Zack Snyder actually proved a point in BVS that he can actually give a kind of a depth story which actually can actually create a better impact. And this is where the I think the BVS unlimited or the uncut version, unlimited or uncut version has actually felt well. I mean, even after the theatrical release was not being pursued well in the audience, but the uncut version actually did well. So I think the director version is somewhere it is missing, and I think I should be probably blaming Warner Brothers for it. And when we coming to the story arc,
Basically, we Marvel fans, they always just look out for a comic reaction, and that's what they try to get connected with when they're watching Justice League. But it's not like that. I mean, you just watch this movie with a act of like a Justice League, a DC comic character movie. So when you look it in that way, the story is quite held up to its mark. So I won't blame that the story is not so bad. Actually, it's really good. But the only fault which has been noticed is the CGI and worst editing, and also the production team. Like, I know it's a chaos itself in them, so that is the major reason why Justice League did not make up to the mark.
I personally feel that the fifth and the most important point is the worst editing of the movie. I mean, we guys have actually seen 3 trailers of the DC thing, and I think they did pretty much do good. They did a good job with the marketing thing. I mean, they released the 3 trailers from 3 different point of view. One is from a Batman, second is from a Wonder Woman, and third is finally from the iconic in the Superman in the fields when he says yes for a ring, and that didn't actually come up to the trailer. I mean, that's
a lot of cuts in
the thing, and I think DC really needs to work on its editing thing. I think it's something what the same thing happened with the Suicide Squad. They didn't include Jared Leto's much of the Joker character. I mean, that's the worst part you can get.
They're leaving out the best characters.
And they don't have the character development in the film. And I feel that's where the Warner Brothers are equally blamed for it. Like I earlier told you, that the movie has been edited really badly. Doesn't have that kind of a particular flow.
Yeah.
There is no much of the character development. I mean, we already know about the Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman. But I mean, Aquaman, Cyborg. Even a Cyborg had a very good background story.
Exactly.
I mean, as far as the spoilers are concerned, but it didn't came up to the movie. Yeah, and I think that's the recommendation we like to give to DC. That next time, I think we really want DC to give that creative liberty to its director to come up with something really creative risk. They need to take very much good creative risk. And I think that's it. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I completely agree with him, because this kind of movies actually have a very impactful storyline and everything, but then they just messed up in the production and filmmaking during the process, I feel. So I think they can still do much better than this. And you guys can obviously leave your comments about the movie and about this whole scenario. So you can just comment down. And have a good day.
And please don't forget to subscribe to that red button. Try to share with your friends. So probably we'll be coming out next week some more fun content about the DC and Marvel and all the Hollywood superhero flicks. Bye bye.
Stay tuned.
Bye. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.